Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining me for this video and welcome to Tarot by the Pines. I am your queer host for this channel, Jason. What's funny is that a year ago I had purchased the indie tarot deck, This Might Hurt Tarot, which is a modern tarot deck that features a lot of diversity and a lot of queerness, which I really appreciate. And flash forward to today for June 2023, I have picked up the mass market edition of This Might Hurt Tarot, which comes in a very different box and it has quite a few different variations from the indie version of This Might Hurt Tarot. So if you haven't guessed it, for Pride Month, I am doing a side-by-side deck comparison between the independent version and the mass market version. So which version is better? Stay tuned. Happy June, happy Pride Month, happy Pride to all my queer family. I see you, I hear you, and you are loved. So let's go ahead and get into This Might Hurt Tarot deck. This is one of my favorite tarot decks ever, and I'm really disappointed with myself that it took me so long to get this deck. It was originally put out independently in 2019. I got it in 2022, and then This Might Hurt Tarot deck mass market edition was produced this year of 2023. So this is going to be a side-by-side comparison. And just to give you my overall thoughts and opinions on the differences and which deck I prefer better. Now, the artwork has not changed, maybe the color palette in terms of like the brightness, but the images have not been changed. So the independent version is going to be in this black box, this gold foil that illuminates the graphics here. So This Might Hurt Tarot deck is a modern deck in the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition, keeping time-honored symbolism and imagery, but losing the medieval context. Now, I always thought the traditional RWS artwork was very stuffy and just really not up my alley. I really respect the history of it, but the actual artwork just isn't my jam. This deck is designed to be both easy to read and highly relatable. Clothing and scenery are modernized, diversity is embraced, and queerness is lovingly acknowledged. This deck was created by Isabella Rotman, and the colored was by Addison Duke. So the independent opens up with this magnetic box. The little guidebook here, it's not in color, but you get a full page of the card and then goes into the meaning of the card. And also the images in this deck, most of the images are of people in Isabel's life, so that's really a nice touch. So the independent version is actually going to have this rainbow holographic edging. And if you don't like gilded edges, I know it's not my favorite because the edges of the cards are kind of sharp. So if you riffle shuffle, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. But if you do overhand shuffling like this, I think it could, kind of wouldn't feel good on your hands. So the backs of the cards for the independent is this black and white image. And then the edging here is that rainbow holographic edging. So if we get into the mass market edition, you have this really pretty box. I really like this box compared to the this box here for the independent. Very colorful, it has images, and I'm a big kid when it comes to color and images. I like images and color. And put out by Liminal 11. And the back is the same wording as the independent. This one is going to be opened a little differently, so it opens at the bottom. So you have this really pretty Wheel of Fortune, or maybe not Wheel of Fortune, I'm sorry. The front of the independent here Comes out like this, and you get another box. And it has the Death card, the Devil, Wheel of Fortune, and the Empress. And it's going to open through here. So it doesn't have anything on here, so you just pull it out like this. And then inside, you have this really pretty wallpaper. It's really, really pretty. I like that. It's the little things, folks. So the guidebook here, really pretty. It's full color. I will say that the first batch of these decks are having a color issue. So you can see here that the image here is green. It has a hint of green. They're not all like that. See, that's a normal color. See, it's a little bit like a zombie baby here. It's got some green tint, another green. So it looks like every other page. But I've heard that they are working on this. So if you have the independent version like I do, then I don't see a big deal. But if you are just getting this deck for the first time, you may want to wait. The difference between the mass market and the independent here, as you can see, it is full color. It does have a foreword by Melissa Sonova, who is the creator of Kitchen Table Tarot and Tarot Elements. That's a new thing. And then the introduction here, which I believe is the same. It is not. So it's a new introduction by Isabella. Here, pretty much the same. The wording has not changed in terms of the meanings of the cards in both guidebooks. And then for the Minor Arcana, you don't get the actual image, but you get it in the background, which I think that's a really neat idea. Whereas in here, you get a full page and then some wording. The actual images have not changed. I can tell here, let me actually do this so I don't confuse myself and I don't want to confuse you either. For the mass market edition, you have this new color palette for the back compared to the indie. I actually really like this. I think it suits the actual overall palette, and there is no edging here. It's strictly straight up a white film, and these cards are glossy. They're not too glossy, to the point where you're like, what in the world? So this is a really good card stock. I really like it compared to the actual indie version. So it is a little thicker than the indie version, actually. And the cardstock for the indie version, it's that it's very matte and it's kind of stiff. So I think either versions are gonna withstand after lots and lots of usage. So off the bat here, I can see that the overall color palette for the mass market edition has been brightened, or has put on more color. I don't know if the camera is picking up, but this is definitely more clearer and more focused in terms of like the actual drawing of the image, and just overall more brighter in the mass market edition. You can see here it's got gloss for the mass market. As you can see, it has that that light, whereas the independent can't see that light. The Empress, the High Priestess, has the most improved in terms of like the coloring. You can definitely tell from the moon, from the independent to the mass, how it's been brightened. The Empress. Beautiful Lovers. Thankfully, that since the mass market edition guidebook has been has that green filter on every other card, thankfully the actual cards do not have that. Otherwise, I would have been pissed. So I can live with the guidebook having that flaw. Justice. You can definitely tell there's been a brightened palette in the mass market. Love this Hangman. Definitely feeling the, or seeing the Bounty picker-upper mascot for the paper towels. See the death really, there's been a shift in the color, whereas this one was a little more, has that focused on this light here, but then the actual focus is actually on the characters rather than this light. The devil, this devil here has been brightened. In fact, I did not realize that this devil is actually naked. You can definitely see a penis here. Not so much in either of the cards, but here you can definitely see it. But in the guidebook, you can definitely see it, especially in the independent version. So if you don't like a lot of nudity, then yeah. Speaking of nudity, folks, if you don't like it, then this deck might not be for you. Again, it's more focused on the stars here in the independent, whereas here, that specific star here is more brightened than the others. Moon, definitely a shift from the independent on the moon to the mass market. And what also I really like about this deck is that there are no Roman numerals. They are actually numbers. And for someone who struggles with Roman numerals, but I am getting better, this is a win-win. Not a favorite judgment card, to be honest. And if you want, again, to hear my full review of this deck, I will put in the description box below of my review of the independent version that I did a year ago. And I think also I will put in Lisa Papez, who did a fantastic side-by-side comparison of this deck. I will put that in the description box below so you can check that out. The color changes are very minimal, and if you have one deck out and not the other, you can definitely not tell the changes in the color. But if you have them side by side and in person, you can definitely tell. I just feel like the mass market edition is a little bit more brighter, and I don't think the camera is really picking up what I'm seeing in person. And I love how this deck changes the kings. Well, not all the kings, but you can definitely see that a woman can be a king, and then a queen can be a man. So I like how it plays with gender. I love this Two of Cups, the two men, this three. This five. This one is definitely more brightened than this one. And this six, beautiful six. I just love how this deck is very inclusive of all ethnicities and the queerness, and just overall being very inclusive. Anyone can see themselves in any of these cards. It has, you know, it's not only to young people. It does have some, you know, people up in the age, the elderly. Let's see. And they are the same size and height, it looks like. So that's good. Liminal 11 really didn't change much. So that's always a good thing. I mean, I know this deck is very loved in the community, as it should. It is such a great deck that modernizes the artwork, makes it more relatable, and just makes it more, I don't know, appealing. Like I said, I really do not like the traditional RWS artwork. I understand the history and I respect it, but I just can't read from it. So let me know in the comments below if you have either versions of this deck, and let me know what do you think about the deck. If you have both versions, let me know which one you prefer. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. I actually purchased the mass market edition because I knew I would like it better than the indie version for a number of reasons. The edging on the cards, they're not really fun to shuffle with. So with the edges being off or taken out of the mass market edition, it makes it more pleasurable to shuffle and easy on the hands. Well, that just sounded dirty. But you get my gist. And I really like the overall box of the mass market edition compared to the independent version. And even with the guidebook for the mass market, I really like the full color, even though there is a flaw. But thankfully, that flaw is not on the actual cards. And even though I really like this matte finish on the independent, the mass market edition, I really like this glossy cardstock. It's not too glossy where it's just like out of control, but it works and I love it. And for the mass market edition, you get an extra card. It's really interesting. This might hurt, this might heal. A girl and a wolf cycle between tender affection and a difficult struggle. In the upright position, the girl tenderly holds the wolf. In the downward position, the girl and the wolf are locked in a desperate battle. The figures are cyclical, with the four symbols of the minor arcana in the corners, suggesting that the struggle and peace are temporary positions in a never-ending cycle. The wolf represents the external world. Risk is inherent in a well-lived life. There will be a vibrant joy, crushing pain, and multitudes in between. All experiences that are meaningful, that are truly joyful, can also bring you the most pain. In the downward position with the girl and wolf fighting at the top, it suggests a time of great difficulty. The external world has bitten you. Times are hard, and you are reaching to that hardship. In order to return to the equilibrium, acceptance is key. If you fight what has happened to you, blame yourself, or refuse to recognize what is going on, you will add to your own suffering. Accept what has happened, and you can become a stronger person on the other side, able to form meaningful bonds with those who have had similar experiences. In the upright position with the girl and the wolf at peace on the top, it suggests a time of healing. Humans are social animals that evolved to thrive in community. Connection is the key to our survival and our highest goal. And it is connection with others and the world around you that will facilitate growth. Take care of your people, love your world, and you will also be taken care of and loving yourself. I really like that. It's a lot of information, not gonna lie, but I really like that. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna try to give an example of the shuffling. So here's the independent version. It's a little crunchy because of the matte cardstock. Knight of Pentacles. And then the mass market edition. Oh yeah, this definitely glides and slides. Oh, another dirty pun or dirty phrase. Yeah, this is definitely more smoother. I just love these backs. Oh my gosh. The Two of Pentacles. How funny that we get 2 Pentacle cards. So with the shuffling, I definitely prefer the mass market edition in terms of like it's very glidey, whereas this, it takes a little bit more work, and plus you're working with the edges, whereas the mass market edition, there are no edges. It's just plain cardstock. So like I said earlier, I prefer the This Might Hurt Tarot deck Mass Market Edition because of a number of reasons, while I still enjoy the independent version. I think I would use more of the Mass Market Edition over the independent version, so this is more like the backup copy. But either way, it is a fantastic deck. Very modern, diverse, inclusive, queer representation. Just love it. You cannot go wrong with either versions. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this deck, the comparison, which version do you have, which version you like better? Just let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Happy Pride, everyone. Be safe, be kind, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.